I'm here at Fairplay on the South Platte River here. Pretty high up in here. I've got my daily permit for the day. We'll see if I can make 20 bucks to get my permit back. I came through here last year, wanted to play around, but the weather was not so great. It was kind of looking like a storm. But today is beautiful. The water looks nice. I'm sure it's going to be warm for me. Others might think it's cold. Crossing the footbridge. We're going to explore down here. Look at the history of these tailings from the old bucket line dredge. Let's see what we can find out. All sorts of ore looking like materials here. So I'm looking in this area, trying to kind of figure out what kind of water flow I can get here. If I go out into the middle, there's more. I didn't bring any of my water boots or anything like that, but there's plenty of rocks to hop on and find a spot around. We'll check a little bit more, then we'll be sampling. I'm going to be using the mini Geo Sluice, but it's the Letrap style. It's brand new. I probably need to wear it in more, but might as well wear it in on a place where the gold is usually small and not abundant. So you can tell at times the water flows through here. There's still some wet materials here, so we know the water is kind of variant. Looks like some, we're working in tailings and a disturbed ground, so it's hard to really tell exactly what spots will be good. The only way to know is to sample and kind of look at the clues others have left in the area who have worked in these areas. I see someone worked that and then filled their hole. Good job. Someone worked in those ones there. We'll have to figure it out. I got some good water flow right over here that I might be able to work. So today I actually have two sluices with me. I got both these in Colorado from Geo Sluice. This one, look how small it is. This will be great for just packing around and lightweight. I mean, it's so feather light. But these drop riffles are nice and deep and can get some material. One thing I like about it too is this beginning ramp area here. So when you set it down, it'll give a little kind of a push of the water up and let the heavy settle down. Both these sluices are brand new and need to be kind of worked in, seasoned as it would be, but they'll still do their job with the gravity feed. This is a replica of the Letrap sluice. We used to use those when mining in California in the rivers. When we were done for the day from diving and doing all that work, so we'd set these up and run our cons through here to get them even further concentrated. And these things did wonderful, so I'm excited to use a newer Letrap style sluice, and this is a small one that can travel a lot easier than the full size one. So I'm gonna set up the sluice right over here. Hopefully I can make it work. Sometimes you gotta move the rocks around just to get what you need. That looks pretty good. I need to weigh it down with some other rocks on the sides. Victory. You see we got a nice steady flow, good V groove. Now the Letraps are definitely different because one side is a little off from the other. However the design concept was, it works really well. Now I just need to find some material to put in here. So I'm looking in here. You can see somebody had worked right here. Looks like a bunch of tailings right here, or maybe push drift. It's hard to really tell. I'm gonna take a sample of this area. I forgot to bring my pick with me. So I probably won't get as much done today, and I don't feel like buying another shovel just to take home. I've got a good sample. Let's see if I get 1, 2, nothing. Who knows? See if I get a color or something. It's always fun to look at the cool rocks. So when I pan, I like to do the swirl, get the mud out, just kind of work it around, get it all mixing in there. And then at the end, I tip down and get it into that little groove. Kind of do a forward, back, side to side, which will center it up and push it down to the middle. We get right here, wash the top stuff off. You're not trying to be too crazy aggressive. I like to take my materials flat, do the side to side again, and get them to that first riffle. Same deal, wash a little bit of the top off, bring it back, bob it. Now with these Garrett Super Sluices, the riffles are so large that it holds a lot more material when you're sampling. One flake. One flake. I won't complain. One flake from about a 2-inch depth sample. It's probably a flood deposit, redeposited here. Others have worked this area. So I'll start classifying materials and feeding the sluice. I found this little rock. It has like a little perfect palm gripper. And I'm just using it to scrape the surface down. Spread it out. Take the materials, put them into the classifier. I don't have a bucket with me, so we'll be filling the gold pan as much as possible and then feeding what we got into the sluice. I always like to watch the water flow before I get crazy. I need to notice if there's a side-to-side buildup. But it's working like intended. Just like that, the pan is done. The materials are moving through really nice. I've got a little buildup here because the water flow back here is kind of spinning. But all I'm concerned about is the front riffles, and then I see the action doing what it's supposed to. It really is a beautiful thing. Look at that action. Got a nice V. Everything's doing its mix up right. If there's gold to be found here, which I've seen, it's gonna be in here. So the reason I chose to sample and dig right there, and I've already gotten one flake so far, is because it comes down here and then you can see it's the inside bend of a channel that comes through. So maybe this was once one of those tailing piles and washed out, or any number of reasons, but it's an inside bend, and when the water rises and comes through from whatever storm, system, snow melt, it's going to be running right through here. And so hopefully that'll prove true. Right here, I can see a pile of classified tailings, so I'll be staying out of that and focusing on the stuff that requires more scraping. I could definitely feel the altitude when I'm working and I'm huffing and puffing. It's definitely a different thing, but hey, I'll feel that much better when I get down to lower elevation. Right now we're just right under 10,000 feet. That's crazy. Growing up in Oregon, the high point is Mount Hood at 11,200 something feet. So knowing that I went over a pass today that was higher than the high point of Oregon, and Mount Hood was a pretty good elevation, is really incredible to think you're just driving right over.
Ready to retire?
What's that?
Ready to retire?
Not quite. Not quite. My first riffle is loaded with black sand. I've seen maybe 2 or 3 flakes, obvious ones, so odds are there's some more. I'm gonna do another sample of that lower layer that I looked at that changed and see if that lower layer still contains gold or if it's literally I'm on a flood deposit. So scraping down, I wanted to do a little deeper of a test, and when I got down here a little further, it's kind of a soft, more of a sandy loam. It's not quite as tight, packed, and gravel as this. So this might be washed concentrate, and this might be old. I mean, everything here is probably old tailings, but it might be a change. We might need to spread out and stay on the top layer, or that could mean something different, maybe more fine gold. We'll see. You got to test to know. Right there, I already see another flake. It's kind of just sitting on the edge there. I saw it slide over as I deposited the material in there. That's a really good sign so far. I've ran about 5 full pans into this sluice. I kind of want to see if I'm still on it, if I've got some color. So I'm going to do a clean out. It might affect this resetup, but we'll do it again. Look at that, so easy to get out. Five pans down to a little bit of concentrate. Now I can reset this up. All right, after that struggle, I've got the sluice set back up. Now the moment of truth. Does this have any real decent gold in it? I'll get a close-up of that. I've got like some good colors here. Whoops. So, in 5 pans classified, we've got, let me get that shade over here. A good amount, nothing astronomically big. That's probably the biggest flake, and it keeps catching the water and flowing back, but you know, it's not bad out of 5 pans in a public area. I even got a nice big chunk of lead there. Probably came from upstream where the people fish above the bridge. So Fairplay is playing out today. Sorry for the pun, but 5 pans, a decent amount of color. I still got a little bit of time here. It's only about 2:40 in the afternoon. Sun's baking, but it's not tremendously hot. Denver was near 100 degrees yesterday, if not over. And I'm up 10,000 feet and enjoying the cool 70 something. So out of this little sample, I've gotten about 15, 20 colors, 5 classified pans, tossing the rocks off. Keep going. I plan to work till about 4, maybe 5, and then see what the total is. And just look at all that gravel. Wouldn't that be fun to try out and see if there's a layer up there somewhere? Odds are it's tailings and they've already been worked through, but you can tell it's been a long time by the size of the trees up top. If I'd had a bucket, my classifier and all that, I probably would have been doing better here, but it's got to do with what you got. So I just cleaned out that sluice. I accidentally knocked a rock over and tipped it, and my concentrate started flowing out of there, so I decided that was the time to do another cleanup. So I was just warned by local Fairplay police that there's a black bear in the area. I'm not too worried about black bears. I live in Alaska. I get bears a lot. I've been in close encounters with a brown bear too. You call them grizzlies or whatever, but I'm not too worried about a black bear, but it'd be kind of cool to see. I had about another 4 or 5 pans classified, so I don't know what's in here. I was just warned about a black bear, so it's adorable. Let's get a close-up. Yeah, there's a little more. It's tiny stuff. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 obvious. I think I washed one back too. Not too bad. Not too bad. Fairplay is not disappointing. It's definitely not big stuff. I mean, some of the pieces I've shown guys that I've gotten, they've said, "Oh man, that'd be a Colorado nugget." And I'm like, "Really? I figured Colorado would have bigger gold. Maybe in some places, but not in these ones." So the Letrap recovery was awesome. It got down the tiniest of little gold, but it's a little bit soft and flexy, and I don't have an ideal spot to place it that would keep in proximity to the place I'm digging. So I'm gonna try the Super Mini out and see how it goes. That looks really good right now for the flow, nice and even. I had to let a little bit of the water out of the side here so that I got the right level. It's a little bit high, I believe, but it's definitely looking good. I got a nice little cascade waterfall off the back. It's pretty level, but we'll see if how the dirt shows what's level and if I need to adjust it some more. You couldn't ask for much of a better day. Beautiful 70 degrees, high alpine area, Fairplay, and I'm getting gold. It's a win-win. If you haven't subscribed already, I'd appreciate if you might as well click that button if I've managed to earn it from you today. I do have a little announcement to give. I'm going to be doing a giveaway of one of these Geo Mini Sluices, the little miniature one that I've been using. And I'm going to cover the shipping anywhere in the US and maybe Canada. I don't know how that's going right now. So a good chunk of Canada, or yeah, so US guaranteed. So if you're liking this, the way to enter for my little drawing that I'm doing for the little Geo Mini Sluice is to leave me a comment about either where you look for gold, no specifics, don't give away your spots. Give me a general region like Colorado or Colorado Rockies or Southern Oregon or Northern California, Mother Lode, a very vague general area. If you want to tell me further, that's cool. You could send me a private message on the other. If you want to tell me, I mean, I'll listen, and you know, I live in Alaska, so I won't be able to frequent your spot very much, but you know, don't be giving away your good spots. Be respectful of your areas. Tell trusted friends if you believe in that. And I've been reading every single comment on my videos thus far. And so when I heart your comment and I ask you a question and you answer back, your name goes in. And then we'll do the drawing on a randomizer, on some online randomizer deal, and whoever wins on that randomizer tool will get the sluice. But just a way I can give back to the community and support a small business here in Colorado. Geo Sluice makes great products, and I'm happy with them. So I've got the Super Mini dialed in. It's nice and level and flowing. It's got some good water, good movement. I think I could be a little bit steeper. But when I feed this top ramp, it like jets the materials over the first riffle unless they're heavy. It's actually really cool how that works. So it'll force the materials up and then they'll jump, which causes the forced submersive and it flings the material up to allow the denser stuff to stay on the bottom and the light stuff to float on by, giving the heavy, dense materials a chance to settle in the first one better. I like this so far, and it's so cute. One of the safety factors with a drop riffle sluice is the classification. Now you still want to do the classification because it does help you run more quality material and less of the big rocks. And you can only run so big of a rock in there. So you can increase your classification size and get more moved, especially if you're in an area with bigger gold. I wouldn't consider Fairplay in the public area an area with bigger gold. Let's say you got too big of a rock in there. Oop, went so quick I barely got it. Let's do another one. It rolls right over the gold trap zones and doesn't really disturb them. That is a win. So if you end up putting a bigger rock in there or something knocks into there, your gold traps are still going to be working. Look at those three wiry pieces. They're not very big, but they're very character. That's really cool. And then there's a bunch of little tiny finds in here. Nothing to shout out about, but I just was going through and I saw these three little pieces and they're just like wiry, strung, really cool. So I've dug down and I got to this big rock down here, but right here I've come across a line of like red and black sands, kind of rusty on the top and darker black on the bottom. And right above here I did a sample pan and I got my best gold. It was like three little pieces, and that was actually pretty good. So I'm going to stay on this layer since I'm not going to try today to get this big rock that I've come to the bottom of to get that out of here. So I'm going to stay and work my way outwards on this layer of black sand that I've seen cross around, and hopefully we'll get a good clean out today and get a final total. Look for a size comparison. This is the Garrett Super Sluice, and look at how little that is. But these riffles are definitely loaded with some materials. I could see it dancing and moving and all about. So let's do the cleanup. Well, it definitely captures the black sand and captures the gold. You see that nice flake right there, a few little ones, and there's some real good micros in here too. For being so tiny and then a legend next to it, I've had a really good day of small gold recovery here at Fairplay. All right, so we panned it down. Sorry, here I'm a one-man camera guy here right now. And there's our take. There's a few more back here. There's a bunch of micros in this black sand that just get moved around, but there we are. There's our gold from that hole by those bigger boulders on an inside bend. I'm not complaining one bit. You can tell this old channel flows that way. My instinct was right, and I got here just before 2 o'clock, and it's now just after 4, and I've only had a pan and that pan classifier for this, and I did pretty well today. I used some great sluices, and yeah, the weather's been good. I didn't get to see that black bear though. I was really hoping the black bear would show itself, but I'd say that's a win for Fairplay Colorado. So time to fill the hole. Doesn't take much to fill a hole. Just make sure you do it so that, you know, no trip hazards. And there we go. The hole is filled. So please subscribe. I appreciate you being here. Don't forget to leave a comment and to enter the sluice of where you would love to prospect or where you currently prospect, but only in a vague sense, a regional area. Don't give specifics. Until next time, may your pans be golden and you have a good morning, day, or night. Whatever it is, wherever you are.